So I watched the Disney film Loop about autism, and this is what I thought of it. Hey guys, welcome back to TheAspieWorld. My name is Dan, I have autism, and I make videos on this type of content every single week, so if you don't want to miss a video, remember to hit that subscribe button. Okay, so I decided to watch the Disney film Loop, because basically I'd come across this movie. It's a Disney Shorts film, so I don't know if you guys are familiar with Disney Shorts, but basically they make these like 9-minute to 10-minute videos that are hosted on the Disney Plus platform, which is like their new on-demand streaming platform they launched late 2019 or early 2020. I can't remember which one when it landed in the UK. But anyway, since then I've been wanting to get onto these shorts, and there's 2 of them on there. I will do a review of the other one, but for now I'm just talking about the film called Loop. Now this film Loop takes the story of a young boy who is in a canoe class with a young girl who's non-verbal autistic, and this little boy has to help her and go through the canoe, you know, get onto the lake in a canoe with her and go out. This is a completely animated movie, by the way. This is not real life action or anything like that. And this girl is non-verbal autistic, and she has like a mobile phone with her, and she like listens to like a repetitive ringtone all the time. It's like woof woof, and she hits it and taps it, which is really good. Now, to me, this film showed something instantly, that like technology, the relationship between technology and repetitive stim noise behavior to help calm people and soothe people on the autism spectrum was actually very, very strong. And it was actually one of the only times I'd seen this quite well represented in the media. The film is really soft, low tone. It's very kind of calming and relaxing. Now, something that really is interesting is that there's a relationship building where this young boy doesn't know anything about this young girl, Renée, her name is, and they're trying to communicate. And obviously Renée has communication difficulties because she's on the autism spectrum, and this young boy has never really dealt with anyone on the autism spectrum as it appears in this movie. And so he tries to communicate with her, and she wants to use the bathroom, and so he's like, you have to tell me what you want. So she gets like a picture of an emoji, of a poop emoji, and shows that to him, presents it to him on the phone. And when she does that, he was like, okay, I'll take you to the toilet. So he like gets over to the river, the toilet by the river, which they've got like some porta potties there. But on the way there's big reeds, and she like glides her hands through the reeds, which is really sensory pleasing, like, you know, going with the wind and gliding your hands through that sensory kind of action. Now, by doing that, she's obviously stimming and getting some real enjoyment out of doing this sensory activity. And she tricked him to go there to the toilet to do that, which is really funny. And he gets a, you know, oh, you know, you tricked me and all this kind of stuff, which is really fun. They have a good fun with it, and then she allows him to try some of that as well. Like she tries him to get him to enjoy the stimming, which she really does do, and he really enjoys it. Now, going to the fact that you know, there's a relationship and a bond growing there, which is really nice, showing that communication isn't always about talking or pictures, it's about feelings. And because of that, it actually gives a actual beautiful side to autism and the fact that you can communicate with people, and I just love that. Now, the film does touch on a few major topics. Now, obviously, one of them being stimming, one being non-verbal. I mean, above all else, the fact that this is a mixed race, or a woman of color, or a girl of color, and it's a girl. I love that. I love that they're including people now. It's not just like, you know, white English dudes. You know, okay, I know her yellow. I'm a white English guy who has autism. But in terms of this movie, it was really nice to see. Now, another hurdle they overcome in this movie is the autism meltdowns. Now, autism meltdowns, if people don't know, are when people are overstimulated by the sensory input around them, and it causes them to go into kind of like a very emotional state where they don't know what to do, and then they kind of shut down but have an emotional outburst. And so in this movie, this actually happens because she loses her mobile phone, and they're playing with a boat, and then they crash onto like this beach, and he has to kind of figure out what on earth to do. But because this young boy has no idea, no experience with autism, basically all he does is he just sits there and says, look, I'll wait it out with you, and I'll sit here and be your friend. And he does. He sits there, and then she kind of calms down. She comes around, and then she has this kind of almost like a nice respect, and that respect is then reciprocated because she wants to come into the boat and then go out on the boat, and they go and play, and they go back home, and it's a lovely story. Now, you know, this movie highlights a lot of insight. One of the things it does do is it shows from her perspective what it's like being in a sensory overstimulated world where things are a bit hazy, and noises and colours are more like flashes, and they're very much more crazy than the average person kind of sees, and you know, everything's chaotic. And it was a lovely thing to see, because I think that more people need to see movies that are like that, because how else do you get an insight into autistic people's lives? And there's only so much I can do here visually when I'm talking to you and blogging this stuff and vlogging it with videos. But in terms of Disney's creative outlets, I think it was fantastic. I don't know who consulted with them on this movie. I highly recommend checking it out. I will leave a link for it in the description down below. But above all else, I think that it's important to see there's a few different things going on there. You know, a multicultural background, a young girl, non-verbal autism, you know, showing that language barriers can be broken down with other things. You know, you don't have to be trained in autism to communicate with somebody on the spectrum, but it does help, obviously. Showing that autistic people just need a little bit of time, you know, allowing that extra little buffer where he sat with her and waited it out rather than shout at her or become distressed, or in other movies which I will not mention, people restrain them, and you know, they're just bad tactics that some other movies use. So this one was really, really good. Now, if you were trying to create a movie to try and explain autism in a very light way where it's not so harsh to watch and it's not so emotionally difficult to watch, this is a great one, and it's a great one to show anybody who trying to really understand autism, especially from a non-verbal point of view. I would recommend showing this to people if you want to if anyone asks you, oh, can you explain about autism? I'd say, yeah, watch Loop, you know, it's a great movie. You know, so if I was to rate this movie out of 10, I would give this movie about a 9 out of 10, and the reason I only give it a 9 out of 10 is because it didn't go on long enough. I think if it was a little bit longer, they could have incorporated a little bit more into the story, or more of her issues and more of her traits of autism, and I think that would have explained loads more to the viewer, the average viewer, who maybe has no information about the autism spectrum or no background on autism. But saying that, it was a great movie. Disney did an absolute solid making this one, and there is another movie which I'm going to be watching. I think it's called Float, and that's another short about an autistic child, and I will be watching that and doing a review as well. So make sure you hit the subscribe bell notification to make sure that you get alerted next time I upload a video, which is super awesome. Now, I'd love to know if you have anything to add. Please pop it in a comment down below, and also share this video on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram if you think that this can help other people understand autism and bring their attention to this movie. Alright guys, I'll see you next time. Peace.